Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is You Are What You Eat. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is You Are What You Eat, and it's part of our health and wellness series. We have our wonderful returning guest who we haven't seen in a long time, Kathera Jasal, better known as Dr. K of the Natural Healing Institute. Good morning, Dr. K.
Good morning, Marsha.
Glad to see you.
Glad to be here.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
It surely has. It surely has. But Dr. K, we couldn't have a program about health and wellness and not have you included. So I'm glad to have you back. And we wanted to talk about, a whole host of things, especially like what have you been doing lately? And then our favorite subject of today is You Are What You Eat.
Right. Well, what I've been up to is a lot of writing and teaching and just reaching out to people and getting some feedback about what it is that they're challenged with. And so what I'm finding is that people want to be responsible for their health and they need the information. So I'm open and receptive to the people that are coming as students as well as clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, during our series of health and wellness, each subject matter is unique in itself. So, okay, say for instance, we're going into our spring, summer months, and most of the time what that means our food habits are changing. Some people are saying eat salads, some people are saying eat barbecue, and some people are saying don't eat anything at all. Dehydrate or hydrate yourself with liquids and things like that. Give us your take on, in the health and wellness department, as you say, you are what you eat.
Well, the body, there's a difference between eating and feeding. We can eat all day and never be fed nutritionally. So there are people who may be 300, 400, 500 pounds and they're suffering from malnutrition, where malnutrition is usually associated with someone who's starving, third world countries and that kind of thing. But what's happening is that people are ingesting a lot of things, and there was something that was introduced, as junk food. Okay, well, junk food means not real food. So if I said, Marsha, I'm going to give you some junk jewelry, you can't take it to the pawn shop. So what you want to do is feed your body nutritionally so that the body can function optimally. So that's the first rule of thumb. So what you want to do is ingest the nutrients that come from nature, because we've gotten so far away from nature until people are eating a lot of things that might be one molecule from plastic, and the animals are mass produced, and so we're suffering from dis-ease, and I like to use that word instead of disease. It's dis-ease. So when the body is not at ease, it's in a state of dis-ease.
Okay. Okay. But people don't like to associate their health conditions with food so much, but a lot of it could be brought on by what you eat.
Definitely. I know I didn't. I used to eat until, like, one of my favorites was banana pudding or peach cobbler, and I would eat until my stomach hurt. And I'd go lay down, wait until my stomach stopped hurting, and then I'd start eating again. I didn't want to associate what I was eating with my stomach hurting or my head hurting and that kind of thing. But we are what we eat, and when we overeat, then our body says, stop it. So it sends a pain signal. So we've got to really start listening to our bodies. Yeah.
Okay. But the transition to go from eating the banana pudding and eating the peach cobbler, was it a long-term transition? I mean, did you have that feeling like, one more time, I need to eat this one more time, or did you just gradually stop and start eliminating the sugary foods, the processed foods?
Well, I started eliminating the sugary foods, and I started wanting to live a life where I wasn't taking aspirin and I wasn't going to the doctor and saying, well, this is hurting, that's hurting, oh, here, take a pill. Instead, what I started doing is doing substitution and started looking towards things that would enhance my well-being rather than deplete it. So that's what I started doing. And then I started finding substitutes, and then I started looking at the foods and how they were being processed, what I was used to when I was coming up, and us having fresh fruits and being able to climb a tree and get cherries or you know, the apples and the plums and all of that was plentiful. So we did eat a lot of food that came from nature, from the trees and from the ground and those kind of things. So we've got to get back to nature where our body is actually identifying with that rather than the chemicalized cuisine that people are eating. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Because I'm at the point that, you know, when I see these urban gardens,
yes,
it's so many of them and they're beautiful, and the families and the neighborhoods who are cultivating that garden, just, I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of chefs that have their own herb gardens and stuff so that they can have, you know, fresh herbs. Now, we've gotten away from that, but slowly and surely we're trying to get back into it.
Yes.
And just knowing that, you know, you have something that you've grown yourself and you feel comfortable in digesting it, you know, is a plus. It's like you don't have to worry about the frozen bag of broccoli, the frozen bag of Brussels sprouts and things like that. You went in your yard and you actually picked that ripe tomato, okay, stuff like that. And then to allow children to learn from nature. Because if you give a child the opportunity to have a little garden, him, herself, or plant something in the garden and see it grow.
Yes. It is a learning experience, but once again, getting back to nature, and I am so thankful for the urban gardens, and I do consume more plant and live-based foods. Over in other countries, they say that we kill our food twice. We kill it when we freeze it, and then we kill it when we cook it. Yes. So you can't get life from something that's dead. And people are overcooking a lot of things. And then they're wondering why they're hungry or the children are hungry. It's like you just got through eating. Well, they were eating, but they didn't get fed. So we're getting back to the gardening and eating it in its original container. Yep.
Yeah. I think that a lot of today parents really, I don't understand how when you're a parent and you ask the kid, what do you want to eat? I mean, I don't know where that came from. But in any event, you know, parents of the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s always prepared meals and put the plate in front of the child and said, eat. Now, when you get to a point where you're asking the kid what he or she wants to eat, it may be the Golden Arches, okay? Or it may be a naked hot dog or something. That's because you have not, as the parent, prepared a plate and put it in front of the child and said, eat. Or have sit down at a table as a family unit and eat with your children.
Well, a lot of our habits that I grew up with, you know, like everybody sat at the table. You ate what was presented. There was no options.
Right.
You didn't get to choose, but see, a lot of it is commercialized, you know, and it's saying, well, you know, don't feel bad if you don't cook for your family. You can just drive through. It'll give you, you know, more time and that type of thing. But we're seeing a lot of childhood obesity. We're seeing a lot of childhood diabetes and different things like that. And it's a direct result of what the children are not getting nutritionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a break, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with some more good information on you are what you eat.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Movement. Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
And welcome back to the second half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just not joining us, we're here with Dr. K. And Dr. K has enlightened us always about what nutritional values we should take in consideration, and healthy eating and natural food programs that allow you to cleanse yourself. Now, you may not always think that, okay, a vegan, I don't want to do that. Holistic care, I don't know anything about that. Well, you may not know any of those things, but you still want to know how to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And that's mostly done on the internal side. So today we're going to ask Dr. K some questions about food. Okay. Now, Dr. K, in saying that, someone's watching and they're saying they're kind of tired. You know, every summer we go through the barbecue, you know, the grilled corn, everything's on the grill.
Right.
Okay. And in Michigan, we're the 4 seasons, so we do barbecue all summer. Then we get prepared for Thanksgiving, and we get prepared for Christmas. So the turkey farms, you know, geeking them, poor turkeys. But anyhow, everything is got a season. And what's your take on the summer foods, such as the barbecues?
Well, with the heat, the number one thing that's going on with people is dehydration. And the catalyst for that is, one of the things is the amount of talking that we do. And what people don't realize, that every time you speak, you're eliminating moisture. So people are not drinking water as the first beverage. They're advertising all types of other beverages to drink, but there's nothing that replaces water.
Correct.
So I recommend, because I'm a healthy lifestyle coach, that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do, because they call it breakfast, but it's actually break fast, because you've been sleeping and so you weren't eating, and then the first thing you want to do is you want to wake up your body with water. You know, we're used to the shower for the outside, but we need a shower for the inside. And what that does is help to rinse, and it helps to cleanse the internal organs, okay? Anything that you put in your mouth, your body says, oh, she's getting ready or he's getting ready to eat a meal. So when you put toothpaste in your mouth first thing, and I tell people, drink water before you brush your teeth, okay? So there's steps that you can go through, and then the break fast is you want to gently wake your stomach up because it's been asleep. And you want to start off, I recommend fresh fruit, not the frozen, not the in the cup where you pull the lid off and you know and the process
Corn
and
syrup.
the corn syrup and all of that. So if you start off with the fruit, then that starts fueling your body for the day. Fruits are cleansers, vegetables are builders. So you want to cleanse, and then you want to build. And so that's what I recommend that people start off with cleansing, and it helps to detox the body. And then you have natural energy, because what people are doing, they're getting artificial energy. You know, all these sugary snacks and things like that, and the cereals first thing in the morning. And then you wonder why the teachers can't teach, is because these kids are high off of this
breakfast cereal.
This breakfast cereal, and they're you know.
Right.
So we need to start taking care of ourselves internally, because the internal creates
So would
the
you
external.
recommend that if a person is capable, that they should juice in the morning?
Yeah, if that's possible, or do some natural smoothies. So those are the things that I recommend. But going back into the season of summer and taking care of the body doesn't need as much as it does in the wintertime. So it's lighter, and you have more energy when you're infusing your body with the water and the fruit, and then later on the vegetables and those type of things. But staying away from processed food, you know.
I noticed you didn't say anything about meat. So,
Yeah.
so I was going to get to that. So you're saying fruits and vegetables.
And vegetables would be the first, you know. And I choose to be vegan. But what I tell people, if you're going to consume meat, make sure, and there's a particular store that has a sign in the meat department that says, "Our meat is not on drugs."
Wow.
Because there's, and I give people homework. It's like, don't believe what I'm saying. I'm going to give you some homework. I want you to watch this. Because a lot of the animals have been brutalized. And a lot of them are sick. And they have to inject them with antibiotics so they don't die before they kill them.
Okay.
The places where they are, it looks like concentration camps to me. So you are, once again, you are what you eat, you are what the animal ate, you are what the animal was injected with. So a lot of the behavior is also because of the steroids that they banned from the athletes because they're raging out. And so the people are eating, you know, the meat that's got the steroids. So there's ways to pick better cuts of meat, if you will, and meat that's not on drugs. So I do have a T-shirt that says designer clothes and bootleg food. So we're more interested in how we look than how we feel. And it's like, well, if I don't feel good, take a pill. So you want to stop doing those things that's depleting your body and your energy. So,
wow, wow. And you know, and I don't know if a lot of people have seen videos where there's slaughterhouses and things of that nature. You know, overseas, they complain about overseas how people treat animals or cats, mice, you know. I mean, but we're not talking about what happens overseas more so than what happens in the U.S. We're saying in the U.S., we know that there may be sick animals amongst the healthy ones, and they get blended in, and you don't know where it's coming from. But you didn't think you got sick from the food you ate because you prepared it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, you just know that you're not feeling good for the day, and then you take something, and you're back on top again.
Right.
But in actuality, you can consume too much meat, okay, of any kind, because fish has a lot of mercury.
Yeah, I remember going to the meat market, and you actually talked to the butcher and you told them what cut, and they cut it in front of you. Now it's mass produced.
Okay.
And there are some things that's going on with the meat that's just horrible. You know, they found that if you put red meat or meat in a warehouse and filled it up, the warehouse, with carbon monoxide, then the meat stayed looking fresh and red for 30 days. So the meat is old, but it looks new. So once again, we've got to be aware of what we're consuming. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we do have a question that came in from one of our viewers. Faynice Robinson of Detroit wants to know, what are some of the things that can get a person's hormone levels back on track? Because she's saying to us that her hormones, she feels her hormones are imbalanced. And what are some of the things, nutritional-wise, that would help in getting her hormones back on track?
Okay. Well, once again, you are what you eat. And when the animals have been injected with hormones and the size of the animals, okay, so they're getting whatever medications and the injections and things like that, 1,000-pound, 2,000-pound animal. So when you're ingesting the animal, you're ingesting the hormones, the steroids, the antibiotics, and so that can raise the levels of hormones. There's a lot of things that is happening with the children. You can't tell the age of a lot of these children, and they're supersized. That's because the animals have been supersized. They had a diagram where a baby chick, it went from baby chick in 45 days is a full-grown hen. So if you're speeding up the growth rate of the animals, you're speeding up the growth rate of the people, and and the organs are deficient.
Okay. So she needs to really change her diet.
Yeah, change the diet. Eliminate what's there already. You know, I tell people it's kind of like this, and we've seen the hoarding shows. You know, people's bodies, see, whatever the body can't assimilate, it cannot eliminate. So, you know, in the hoarding shows, it's like you see the stuff in a stack from the floor to the ceiling, and they're moving through this little skinny space. Well, that's what's happening with people. And it's like you wouldn't call, I'm not going to call a furniture company, but you wouldn't get brand new furniture to put in a hoarding house. So what you want to do is you want to eliminate the unwanted and then start preparing it for the wanted. Because that's what your body wants. It wants nutrition.
Okay. Well, okay, we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with what your body needs. We'll be right back.
That's low.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks.
And welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know I always tell you, if you have a question for any of our guests, and especially a person like Dr. K, give us a call, 1-800-323-5336, 1-800-323-5336, Twitter, hashtag Marsha, and we'll forward the questions to our guests and get them to respond back to you. And also feel free, if you have a question like Faynice Robinson did, you can drop us a line on the website or, like I said, Facebook or Twitter, and we will mention the question on air. Now, Dr. K, getting back to you, we were on a roll about, the lady's question, more or less. Would you have any tips or something or recommendations for her?
Well, I know that everybody is as individual as their fingerprint. So I would advise that she get with a healthcare professional or reach out to me and get some information. But the first step is to eliminate what's there. Now, the building process, because once again, everybody is as individual as their fingerprint. So your biology is directly affected by your biography. So your age, your sex, relationships, what you've been doing over the years, where you've been working, your environment, and all of that is impacting your health. So I would like to use this analogy about the house. We've seen the houses that are in disarray, that's crumbling and falling, that are in the city. Now, the houses are made of stronger stuff than our organic bodies. And the reason why they're crumbling is because there's no energy. So one of the things that I work with people is about their energy. People need to make sure that they're breathing, because a lot of times people don't even realize they're holding their breath most of the time. So making sure that they're breathing. Making sure that there's laughter, that there's fun, that there's play, and that there's movement. Without movement, there's stagnation. And stagnation is a breakdown of the bodily systems. So you want to honor where you live, and this is your vehicle. This is where your soul and spirit resides. So your thinking impacts your body. That's huge, because what we think about, we bring about.
Okay.
Thoughts are things. So it isn't just the body, it's the mind and the spirit. And so what I do is I encompass all of that, because I'm not just dealing with, the headache, oh, here, take a pill. It's like, well, why do you have a headache? And so what is your practice? What do you do? How much water are you drinking? Are you drinking, a half a gallon of water? Are you drinking tap water? Are you drinking, So just finding out what you're doing and how you are either accessing health or diminishing it.
Okay, because 9 times out of 10, those who will tune in may be couch potato persons who are sitting home and they're hearing this, but they're saying, well, what do I do first?
Okay, well, the first thing to do, I tell people to journal. Write down, that's an excellent question. Write down everything you're putting on you and in you, and write down your thoughts.
Okay.
So that's the first step. And when you start logging what you're putting on you and in you, because see, this is the other thing that people don't realize. When they're putting on lotion or whatever they're putting on their body, it's going into your bloodstream. It's not being filtered out through the, if you were ingesting it, it's not being filtered through the organs. So if you're constantly putting that in your bloodstream, you've got all of these chemicals, and you've got insecticides, you got pesticides, you got sprays and all of that, that's when the body starts withering. And so what you want to do is you want to eliminate those things. And this is another thing that I say. The solution to pollution is dilution.
Okay. All right. So, okay, now someone's going to be hearing you say that.
Okay.
And then someone's going to say to themselves, I want to journal
Yes.
myself for what, a week, a month, or
I
how long?
would do it for 30 days.
30 days.
And see what their habits are. It's like, what are you eating? What are you drinking? And what are you thinking?
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when they have done the journal, should at the same time, a month later, after they've saw all the things that they've eaten and all the things that they have put on their body stuff, should they start to say, I'm going to see how it feels not to eat that next month. I'm going to see how it feels not to wear that. I'm going to see how it feels not how to drink that 30 days later.
Yes, because our body is porous. Once again, it's going in. My rule of thumb is, if you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on you. So I use the oils, natural oils and things that the body will identify as being natural. But a lot of these chemicals, people don't know that they have propylene glycol, sodium lauryl sulfate, antifreeze, and things like that. And if you know that it's poison, then you can understand why my energy level is low. So just using a barometer of how you're feeling after you eat particular things, then that would be a good rule of thumb. And then just getting with someone that can help to guide you and do substitutions, because there are substitutions. So, you know, if you like macaroni and cheese, there's a healthier way of ingesting macaroni and cheese. And so what they're doing is they're accumulating waste. So people are overweight because they're overwaste. Because the body can't assimilate it, can't eliminate it, so it's like storing it.
And I do know if you take sugar out your diet, more or less, once you eliminate the taste of sugar, that's part of the battle right there. I mean, you know, you can start to feel like, okay, I'm not craving anything sweet, okay? Because a crave goes a long way until you actually answer the crave.
Exactly. Well, there are chemicals and drugs that are in the food that keep you wanting more. I mean, that helps somebody else's bottom line. But sugar is the #1 drug. They can talk about all the other drugs, but sugar is the #1 drug. And sugar is virtually in everything, even stuff that's not even sweet. It's like, why is sugar in this? So the sugar that we used to eat, as a matter of fact, I tell people, I says, you know what, you could take some white refined sugar and spread it out in front of your door and the ants won't cross it. I remember sugar as a kid, you had to put it in a container, because if you put it in a bag and put it up under the ants were in it. They don't go in there because they know it's not real.
You know I'm going to try that. Okay. Well, Dr. K, will you come back and see us again?
Yes, I will.
Okay, don't stay away so long.
I will not.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
All
now, ladies and gentlemen, you know I have to include you into everything we do here at Just Ask. And so when you ask me questions about health and wellness and nutrition, we have people like Dr. K come on, Asa Lockett, Solar Life and Fitness, all those individuals who have something to do with health and wellness. Tune in. If you have a question for them, please send me one, and I'll forward to them. 1-800-323-5336. Twitter, #Marsha. So if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask, but you're not going to say it like this. If you have a general question, or if you have a question about a person with a disability, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.
Thank you.